Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios. What a move! Here's Josh Hennig.
Hump Day Wednesday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Don't forget, it's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg will join us to talk Eagles, and I guess we'll talk about the Phillies as well. I'll get to that thought in just a bit. Of course, you can join the conversation. As always, Eagles are coming up in a few days versus the Washington Commanders. Got to keep reminding myself they're the Commanders, not the football team anymore. I got so used to calling them the Washington football team that now saying Commanders feels like it's a fake team. Like I don't know if is it XFL? Is it AAF? Is it USFL? I'm not even fully sure what league the Commanders would be in, but it shouldn't be the NFL. That's for sure. Join the conversation at 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. 97.3 ESPN.com. Extra Point Sports columnist Dave Weinberg will join the show coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. So let's hit on a couple things before we get to Dave. Let's first start with the Eagles. The Eagles are right now in a very interesting prime position. They are in prime position to basically get up to a point in their season where they will be the prohibitive favorites going into the end of the year to not just win the division, but compete for the conference. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's one of those situations where you look at the Eagles' schedule and you realize that this is the byproduct of a team that, let's be fair, they're playing the schedule they are for two reasons. One, because luck. Okay, some of the NFL schedule each year is luck. I mean, think about it. Think about who the Eagles are playing this year. They're playing the AFC South. Only in 2022 is the AFC South a dumpster fire. If you would have got to me about 2-3 years ago or 4 years ago, the AFC South would have been a gauntlet. There was a point in time where the AFC South had Deshaun Watson before the accusations in Houston, Phillip Rivers with the Colts that one year. They were both in the division at the same time. Oh, and even the Jags had Nick Foles. Remember that? Of course, then Foles got injured, and then Gardner Minshew, and well, you know the rest. But the point is that think about it. There's a little bit of, you want to call it luck, you want to call it fortune, you want to call it, things going your way. You can call it fate, whatever you want to reference it. So part of your schedule is that. And part of your schedule also is the fact that you are a team that is on the come up when certain other teams are on the come down. And here's what I mean by that. Right now, you look around the NFC and you realize that there is no prohibitive favorite in the conference. I can find a issue or something wrong with every single team in the conference. The Packers have probably one of the worst receiver cores in the conference, but they have a great defense and they have Aaron Rodgers. And their offensive line seemingly can't stay healthy. Bakhtiari comes back and then Runyon gets hurt, right? It's just a mess out there in Green Bay. We just saw the Vikings. Basically, you get in Kirk Cousins' face, you can destroy the Vikings. It's a simple equation. You look at the Bucs. Offensive line is in shambles. Brady's basically throwing to me at this point, and that's a problem. Because I would be a horrible NFL wide receiver. I can't catch a football. Come on. That's why I played defense when I was a kid. When I played football when I was younger, I played defense. Why? Because I couldn't catch the ball. Now, if you handed the ball off to me, I'd be good. I'd be fine. But Brady ain't handing the ball off to me. He's doing it to Leonard Fournette or somebody like that. You go out west. The Rams, Sean McVay called his own team out that they need to get over last year and refocus. The 49ers got Jimmy G, but how good are the 49ers with Jimmy G? The roster, how much better or worse than it is than last year? Then you have the Cardinals. Kyler Murray was amazing last week, but he's not going to be able to do that every week. The Raiders had a lot of missed tackles in that game. A lot of missed tackles. You find a team with a little shorter tackling, Cardinals probably lose that game, for as exciting as that was. And, of course, you got the Saints. Jameis Winston apparently has got a back issue now. Or as he calls it, everything hurts. Because, Jameis is a genius. Great linguist right there. So every team's got a problem in this conference. And you look at the Eagles' schedule moving forward. And we're not going to play the win-loss game here. But I'm just trying to paint a picture for all of you listening on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, wherever you're catching the show. Thank you for joining me today. So you look up and down this schedule. You should beat Washington this Sunday. You should beat the Jags next week. At Arizona is going to be tough. This is where me and Mike Gill disagree. He keeps saying that the Eagles are going to be favored in every game for the next several weeks. I think that Arizona game is going to be where they're not favored because it's on the road, and at that point, Arizona should still be above 500. And then you have the Cowboys before their bye week, and that's in Philadelphia. That's a primetime game. So I'm going to make the assumption that the Eagles can win that game because I don't think Dak will be back for that game. Jerry Jones is trying to sell everybody Wolf tickets on this idea that Dak is going to come back very soon. I feel like Jerry is pulling his hardest hard sell he's ever had to pull. I haven't found there's not a single doctor anywhere in media that I have heard that has suggested that Dak can be back for that game. None. So I don't know what Jerry's getting his information from. Then you got the bye week. Then you got the Steelers at the Texans, back home against the Washington Commanders on Monday Night Football. And, of course, at the Colts, home against Green Bay, home against Titans. And then you get your NFC East month with the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Giants again, all over a 5-week stretch. So by the time you get to December, what are the Eagles going to be? 9-2, 8-3, 7. Let's say they're 7-4. It's not bad. They're 3 wins away from what I thought they would do this year. To me, this was a 10-7, 11-16. If they're 8-3 heading into December, they only need 2 more wins to get to 10 and 3 to get to 11. And as long as you're in the double digits, I feel pretty confident you're making the postseason. So the reason why people are so high on the Eagles right now has less to do with the Eagles, to me, being good than it is with the fact that the rest of the conference is kind of even with the Eagles. There's no prohibitive favorite. The 2 best quarterbacks in the conference are both playing on teams that are lesser than they were last year. So that's why you got to look at the Eagles differently moving forward. And it helps that they've now started the season 2-0. Because when you start the season 2-0, it makes things easier for you. Text board is open as always, 609-403-0973 on the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. The Phillies. I'm going to get this out of my system now. The Phillies have not done a good job at generating my undivided attention. It's great that you scored 11 runs last night, but it's not great that you allowed 18 runs. Now, if you win the game tonight, you neutralize yesterday, and you go into the series with Atlanta, all things even Stevens. But if I'm being completely honest with you guys, in another time and place, I would be jumping up and down about Aaron Judge getting 60 home runs in less than 150 games in a season. because that's a record in and of itself. People forget Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs in 154 games. Aaron Judge did it in less than 150. And when Aaron Judge gets to 61 and 62, he's going to do it in less games than Roger Maris did it. This is a major moment for baseball. The Phillies are in a playoff hunt. The Dodgers are an amazing team. The Cardinals got Albert Pujols going after 700, which I think I'll get to. And that would be cool as well. All these great storylines. But baseball has gotten buried. And I don't even know what the answer is at this point. I don't know what baseball can do because I'm running out of ideas. I don't know what baseball can do to regenerate the interest of the diehard sports fan. Because guess what? Me, diehard sports fan on your radio here on 97.3 ESPN FM, Josh Hennig, hanging out with you on a Wednesday. I love sports. And I'm not hyper invested in baseball right now. Now, part of it might be my fault. I don't have a fantasy baseball team this year, so maybe that's part of my disconnect a little bit. Maybe it's because I'm so hyper into football mode between college football and the NFL. Maybe that's impacting my attention span. Maybe it's because, like all of us, we have other things going on in our personal lives outside of work. Maybe I'm just so overwhelmed that at night, I just don't feel like turning on MLB Network. Maybe I just stay on another channel. Maybe just SportsCenter is more melodious to me right now. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm more interested in who buys the Phoenix Suns than I am in the Phillies game tonight. I think this Suns story with Robert Sarver is fascinating. Basically, this guy has been pressured into selling his team because the NBA didn't have the spine to force him out like they did Donald Sterling. He's basically been embarrassed enough to sell the team by other people involved. So I'm very interested in buys the Suns because you look around sports, the majority of teams that have been for sale recently have been in anything but basketball. There has not been a lot of NBA teams sold, and you could argue that long-term, the NBA is going to be the better investment for a team owner than baseball or hockey is. Just because of the growth of the sport, because of where they're going financially. You could argue that basketball is the way to go if you're a new owner. The problem is that the people who have been trying to buy football and baseball teams recently, they don't fall into the category. Josh Harris tried to buy the Broncos. He already owns the Sixers. Mark Cuban's been wanting a baseball or a football team for years. Well, he already owns the Mavericks. Jeff Bezos just dumped about $1 billion into Thursday Night Football to try to get his foot in the door with the NFL so he could eventually buy a football team. Wink, wink. He wants Washington, is where a lot of the reports are out there. So I am curious to find out who steps up to buy this team. Because you look at the last basketball team that gets sold, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're in a financial pickle right now because Alex Rodriguez's financial situation has become a little solvent. It's not as robust as he said it was going to be. So for me, I am very fascinated by who buys the Suns. Phillies, I'm just waiting for them to give me a reason to get excited. And I hate being in that state of mind. We'll ask Dave Weinberg his thoughts on some of these things coming up next here on Game Night for a Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Of course, being brought to my friends over at Jenkins & Sons Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning, as well as the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's, Atlantic City.
Friday on ESPN Radio.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a bomb. Two teams hunting for October go head-to-head in a critical showdown. While the Atlanta Braves are fighting for the NL East lead, the Philadelphia Phillies are in a battle for the NL wild card.
Racing over there, Schwarber, did he make the catch? He did! Wow. Oh, my goodness.
The Braves at the Phillies.
Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The opioids I was prescribed made me feel worse.
I was pregnant, addicted, and scared.
I thought painkillers would get me back on the field faster. I was wrong.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
I got into treatment and delivered a healthy baby girl.
844-REACH-NJ was the call I needed to make.
I'm glad I made the call.
I made the call.
Hello, REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Rezzle is the world's #1 virtual reality sports trainer. Whatever your team, your sport, your ability, improve your game and train like a pro.
Rezzle.
Reactions, performance, accuracy, stamina, resilience. Train at home in the Rezzle Sports and Fitness VR training arena. Search Rezzle, REZZIL.
Harder, stronger, smarter.
The world's #1 virtual reality sports trainer. Available now on MetaQuest.
I got Park Hill and West Valley covered on Tuesday.
At Marita's Pool Service, the current staffing plan doesn't hold water.
3 more neighborhood pools on the same day.
She needs more pool technicians to dive into work head first.
That's awesome, but now we're shorthanded.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig reminding you to trust Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Because when we needed to make the 97.3 ESPN studio comfortable, that's who we called, and you should too. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing and drain cleaning services, call 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Every Wednesday, we talk with 97.3ESPN.com sports columnist Dave Weinberg here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. As the Eagles are 2-0, I don't know how many people actually picked the Eagles to win on Monday night, but I don't think anyone can deny the fact of how impressive they were. And I know one person who has been banging the drum all off season long in favor of Jalen Hurts is Dave Weinberg. And he joins me right now on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, how does it feel to be right about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it feels good to be right. Although I picked the Vikings to win, so I can't brag too much. I'm 0-2 in my picks so far, by the way.
Well, maybe you just keep picking against the Eagles until they lose a game. How about that?
I've had several people suggest that. Yes, among other things.
So, look, you and I have been in lockstep about Jalen Hurts, but I want to ask you about somebody else before we get into Jalen. I said on yesterday's show, and I'll say it again today, Dave, I was wrong. I was very hypercritical of Jonathan Gannon. I ripped him after the first game, and I got to give him credit. He's not just a pretty face out there. He did a good job calling a legitimately good defense that got in Kirk Cousins' face, and you could argue that might be the best the defense has looked in, 2-3 years?
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. He really did. I mean, Cousins seemed like he was totally clueless. 3 interceptions in the red zone. They bottled up Dalvin Cook. They really did a great job all around defensively. And you're right. I mean, they struggled in the opener, but whatever was wrong, they seemed to fix it on Monday night. That's for sure.
When you think about this defense moving forward, because they got an interesting schedule, Dave. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, Washington, they've shown they can put up points this year. The Jags, they had 2 straight games now with at least 24 points scored. The Cardinals got that Kyler Murray guy who runs around. The Cowboys, we cannot talk about them right now, but heading into your bye week, are they all winnable games? Yes. But it's not like you're facing Mike Glennon and Garrett Gilbert or any of those guys here. These are legitimate NFL quarterbacks, and I'm curious to find out, Dave, can they replicate what they did on Monday night each week moving forward?
Yeah, that's a good question, Josh. Good observation. Yeah, they built that record last year by facing second, third, even fourth string quarterbacks. When they went up against a so-called decent one, they got the what handed to them. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they. I mean, are those guys legends? No, but Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence is getting better as he goes. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge starting this week with some Carson Wentz guy.
Right, Carson Wentz guy. Well, before we get to Carson, let's get to the guy who replaced Carson.
Yeah.
That was arguably Jalen Hurts' best game of his NFL career. And I think it's a shame that actually 2 of his better plays on Monday night were negated by offensive line penalties. Dave, there were 6 offensive line penalties on Monday night. And I'm thinking, if the offensive line could just get their head out of the sand, this guy could have had an even better game.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that a couple of those are maybe a little bit. Sorry, they're cutting down a tree next door. I would argue that some of those offensive line penalties were kind of ticky-tacky, a legal man downfield when they were probably like maybe a foot over the line of scrimmage or something like that. But he had a fantastic game, no question about it. And as you know, we've been singing Jalen Hurts' praises as a leader, as a respected, as an improving young quarterback all through the offseason. And he's made us look like geniuses, quite frankly, with the way he played on Monday night.
What do you think he can take from Monday night's game moving forward? Because now everybody's seen it, right, Dave? How NFL teams are. They got the tape. They got the visual. Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera, they've been around the league. They've seen a lot of stuff in their careers. Doug Peterson, he helped draft the guy, for goodness sake. I mean, there's reports out there that Doug said he wanted the Eagles to draft Jalen Hurts, for goodness sake. So, it's not like he's going to have an easy go of it moving forward. So what did you see on Monday night that you can put your finger on and say that is something that this guy with this offense can take moving forward?
The fact that he doesn't have to do it all himself. I mean, he's been known, and there's been and one of the not sort of problem, but one of the things he's done in the past is seems to like take off at the first sign of trouble. If his first read is covered, he wouldn't like scan the field for other options. But now he has that talent around him that he knows that if AJ Brown is covered, he can go to Dallas Goedert or Devontae Smith or dump it off to Miles Sanders or what have you. So yeah, I think the fact that he knows he doesn't have to be the hero, I think that's really gonna help him going forward.
Dave Weinberg for joining the edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Of course, you can follow Dave on Twitter at Dave Weinberg19. Extra point columns at 97.3 ESPN.com. You mentioned Carson Wentz. Let's get to that guy. Let's be realistic, Dave. You know, Carson Wentz is not a bad quarterback.
No.
But he's not the second overall pick in the draft level quarterback. So when this team faces him, what is a fair expectation of him in the Washington offense in your mind this Sunday?
Well, he has to pay. He has some playmakers around him, so the potential is there to score some points. But the potential is also there for him to make some mistakes. You know, some boneheaded errors or stupid interceptions, trying to do too much, and which is what he's been doing the last couple of years, really. So I'm not sure what to expect. I was hoping that, or I guess he was hoping that a change in scenery, another one, would somehow do him good. It seems like the results have been pretty inconsistent for 2 games, so it's going to be interesting to see if he learned from those first 2 games and can maybe get a little revenge on the Eagles. I doubt it, but it's possible, I think.
Can the Eagles do to Washington and Kirk Cousins to Wentz? Can they replicate what they did to Kirk Cousins? Can they get in his face that much? Or do you think that Washington will be ready for that?
You would think they've seen the tape of the Vikings game, so they'll make preparations towards that. And Carson, I don't know that he has a particularly quick release. I mean, they pressure Cousins, but would they have 1 sack maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
But so they need to get more than that, and I think they might be able to do that. Carson tends to hold on to the ball a long time to try to make something out of nothing, rather than throw it away or dump it off. So I would expect them to put a lot of heat on Carson and maybe get 3-4 sacks.
Dave, I want to ask you about the Phillies. I know how much you love baseball. That's why I want to frame this question to you this way. You know, I love sports, okay?
Yep.
But for me, I should be more excited about Aaron Judge and 60 home runs. I should be more excited about the Phillies only 7 wins away from 90 on the year. And I feel like baseball is just kind of just there a little bit. Like, how are you feeling about baseball right now?
Well, I'm excited, but you're right. I mean, it seems once football season starts, it seems like, especially in this area, baseball tends to go on the back burner. The Phillies are in an exciting playoff race right now, but nobody seems to really pay attention. They're more concerned with Dollar Dog Night than they are who the Phillies are playing. And, Aaron Judge is doing something. I mean, it's not historic, but it's something pretty special. Not too many guys have gotten to 60 home runs, and for him to do that's a pretty remarkable accomplishment. Supposedly or reportedly one of the first clean guys to do it in quite a few years, since maybe Roger Maris, really. So it's a shame that people aren't paying more attention to it. I really don't know the reason for it. I think you could do both. I mean, during the week, certainly you should be watching the Phillies and paying attention to what Aaron Judge is doing. But for whatever reason, everybody's focused on the win over the Vikings and looking forward to the game against the Commanders.
I almost feel like the Phillies are kind of in that mode, Dave, where like there's so many fans who are like, I need to see you make the postseason before I believe in you. And it's like, well, that's great. Well, by the time they make the postseason, it might only be for 3 games and they'll be done. So like you're basically waiting on what's the equivalent of like an NFL wild card weekend. Right.
I mean, they've already met expectations, I think, just by being relevant and being in contention. I mean, it will be there's no question it'll be a disappointment if they somehow don't make the postseason. And I'm not quite sure why people aren't paying attention to this. I mean, they've stunk for so long, and now all of a sudden they're finally in contention, like I said, to make the playoffs. And you would think there'd be 30, 35 people at the ballpark every night, but now it's like what, 19, 20,000 maybe?
They had 21,000 last night.
That's terrible.
By the way, I was wrong. They only have 80 wins right now. So they're still 10
that's
away.
right. That's okay.
They're
still
10 away from 90, but they got 15 games to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the potential is there, and they're still very much into the playoff race, which should be reason enough to tune in or to even go to the ballpark.
I will say the most interesting thing about the game tonight, Dave, is Zach Wheeler coming back, but on a pitch count. And I'm curious to see how many actual starts they get in for him, because mathematically you should be able to get 3 starts in for him to get him ramped up for the postseason.
Right.
Although I got to admit, Dave, I'm not a fan of this. Let's piggyback Syndergaard on the back of Wheeler's start. I feel like that's a little weird.
Yeah, it is. You're right. And then, he might be making 3 starts, but how many pitches is he going to throw? I mean, what kind of a factor is he going to be? It seems like they're almost better off just, using him out of the bullpen maybe or something to get him ready for the postseason if in fact there is a postseason for them.
Well, it's weird because I was under the impression that you were going to use Eflin as a starter and then go to the bullpen. But then the other day they brought Eflin out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm a little confused about what the actual plan is with this starting staff, because if all things were healthy and equal, we wouldn't have these questions. But Wheeler and Eflin are both coming off of injury issues. Obviously, Eflin's was more serious than Wheeler's was. Syndergaard has been extremely inconsistent.
Yep.
So, and then Gibson, he's Jekyll and Hyde. So it's like going into the postseason, it's like, well, I hope Wheeler and Nola are ready to go, because frankly, your third starter might have to be Bailey Falter at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you do have 2, or you have 1 pretty good. Even Nola's been kind of inconsistent, although he's had a pretty good season. I mean, better than pretty good, a very good season. But yeah, you don't know what you're going to get out of the rest of the rotation. You just got to hope that you get in first, and then I guess worry about it then, and hope that these guys can step up and come through for you.
I mean, poor Nola. I mean, the guy actually is pitching well for overall in the month of September for the first time in like his life.
Yeah.
And, it's like he allowed 1 run to the Marlins, no runs to the Nats, and then because there was only 2 innings against the Nats, but I digress.
Yeah.
But then the Braves, it's like you gave up 4 runs. Your offense should be able to produce 4 runs, and they couldn't do it in Atlanta. So it's like poor Nola. It's like we ripped him for how many years, and this guy can't pitch in September. He's actually pitching all right, and it's like the Phillies are just like shrugging their shoulders at him.
Yeah, they're not. You think he's had bad luck. He really has. You would think that they'd be able to step up, or like I said, step up around them and offer some more run support. I mean, the guy deserves it. He's had, like you say, he's pitched very well in September, and he's not really getting rewarded for it like he should be.
Yeah. So when you look ahead baseball wise, so what right now is more interest to you, Dave? Is it the Phillies down the stretch, or is it seeing how many home runs Judge can finish with?
Oh, the Phillies. No question. Yeah. Judge's accomplishment is terrific and noteworthy and all, but he's not catching Barry Bonds' record, and that's the record. Whether you believe in it or you approve of it or not is irrelevant. I mean, he has the record for home runs with 73, something like that, I think it was. So yeah, he's not catching them. So I'm more, if he hits 63 home runs, that's great, passing Roger Maris, but still, or 62. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm way more invested in the Phillies playoff run, and if they can get back to the postseason for the first time in however long it's been.
I mean, what intrigues me about the Judge situation, Dave, is that, people talked for years about how, well, Babe Ruth hit 60 and 154 and Maris hit 61 and 162. Right. And I'm sitting here like, well, Judge just did it in 143. He got to 60. So it's like, to me, that's the impressive thing. It's the number of games. McGuire was like the last week of the season when he hit the 70th home run. And, to me, like what interests me about Judge is like, I don't think people understand that like the guy isn't just another dude hitting home runs.
Yeah, that's true. He is a special guy. I mean, the freak of nature, really, that size and that power. And, he's been that way for almost his whole life. I mean, you can't really accuse him of taking illegal substances. So,
he's a big
what
boy.
that's what makes it kind of cool to see him out. I really wish that Mike Trout would be able to stay healthy for a whole season, because I think this might have shaped up maybe to a McGuire-Sosa situation where, you had two guys really going at it, and that would have been really cool to watch. That I would have been tuned in to watch every night if I could.
Speaking of Mike Trout, it's my last question before I let you go. Who do you think would have been a better football player after high school? Mike Trout at 6'2", 235, or Aaron Judge at 6'7", 280?
Oh, man. Oh, Mike was a fantastic athlete in high school, but he didn't play football beyond his freshman year in Millville. Yeah, I think he was the quarterback as a freshman, and then they decided to focus on baseball and basketball. Aaron is just so physically imposing, and depending on what position he played, I could see him as a tight end or something like that. I think I might go Aaron Judge with that. How about you?
I lean the Judge because I feel like when you're that tall and that big and you're that athletic, you can do a lot of things. Like, the problem with football, I've always felt like, is people don't understand that, like, these dudes are like, these are like athletes. It's like, baseball, no offense to baseball, there's a lot of guys who play baseball. They're not physical specimens.
Right.
Like, to play sports like football and basketball, you got to be at a certain level of athleticism.
Well, Mike's a fantastic athlete.
He
don't
is.
get me wrong. Yeah.
And so it's like, to me, like, to see a guy that tall and that big, like,
Yeah.
you see him stand next to other, like, athletes, and you're just like, this is not right. Like, the dude is literally taller than James Harden.
Yeah.
Who plays for the Sixers. Like,
Did he play football in high school or anything?
He did. He did play football. Yeah. From what I understand, he played tight end and wide receiver. Think about covering that guy as a wide receiver. That must have been scary for someone like me. They listed me as about 2 inches taller than I really was in high school days. So that's the the old trick, they put you in the cleats and put you against the wall, said, all right, lean up as high as you can. And I went from being about 5'10" to about 5'9" real quick.
There you go. Yeah, I hear you. Believe me, I know what you're talking about.
Dave Weinberg joining us at Dave Weinberg 19 extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. I'm assuming when you write your next column, it'll be about the Eagles losing on Sunday, right?
I know people are wanting me to pick against them, so we'll have to see.
Listen, my opinion is, if you believe something, just stick with it. Who cares what everybody else says?
I've been doing that my whole career, so no reason to change now. I'm not going with the populace. I never have.
Good man. Good man. Dave, always appreciate you jumping on. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Jess. I appreciate it as always. Take care.
And, of course, our conversation with Dave Weinberg here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons. Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has helped your football team. Yes, over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated seat that football players sit on today. The Jenkins family created a way for football players to weather the extreme cold on frigid game days. Now imagine what Jenkins can do for your home and your family. Jenkins is the name homeowners and business owners call for quality service and reliability you can only get from a 3-generation family-run company. Call Jenkins for plumbing, drain cleaning, and leak repairs, gas furnace, boiler, or hot water heater replacements. Jenkins technicians do it all. Professional football players counted on Jenkins for years, and you should too. Call Jenkins at 609-641-6262 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. We'll check it on the text board on the other side. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle, Jeff in Ocean City, Mike in Egg Harbor, Dan in EHT. We'll get to all your messages coming up next.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday in Washington against the Commanders.
He is going deep for Quez Watkins, who has it, goes in for the touchdown.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagle station.
You're about to experience the impressive performance of the new Acura MDX Type S. With a powerful turbo V6 engine with 355 horsepower. It has room for the driver and 6 passengers. Also, it's perfect for your family. The new Acura MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Visit your Delaware Valley Acura dealer to find your Acura today.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and QIOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Check out Chicky and Pete's all-new happy hour every weekday starting at 4 p.m. Enjoy select craft beers, seltzers, and wines for $5, plus feature cocktails for $7 on our special happy hour food menu. We call it the Bar Board, with world-famous crab fries, tasty pretzel nuggets, and get ready, Curds Aroni, with crispy bacon and Dijon cheese sauce. Chicky and Pete's all-new happy hour every weekday starting at 4 p.m. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. College football is back. Come join us for XL College Football Saturdays every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. We have you covered. Ice cold domestic draft personal pitchers for just $5. Plus a wing special for you and your crew like no other. 40 classic or boneless Chicky and Pete's award-winning wings for just $60. Choose from buffalo, barbecue, dry rub, or the new kid on the wing block, spicy Thai peanut wing. XL College Football Saturdays only from Chickies and Pete's.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Imagine buying a pair of sneakers and getting a soothing, gentle foot massage like you'd get during a relaxing pedicure just by walking. Skechers' new Massage Fit sneakers. Because Skechers, the comfort technology company, has designed a unique innovation that makes it feel like you're pampering your feet with a gentle massage in every step. The secret is Skechers' new patented wave technology on the sole that gently massages your feet while you're walking around. Find them for men and women at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer. Plus, it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
If you're one of the 100 million Americans who suffer from high blood pressure, this is for you. New Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure is specially formulated for people with high blood pressure. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free and alcohol-free. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is also decongestant-free, unlike some ordinary cold medicines. So look for Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed.
Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig reminding you to kick off football season at FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's to get in on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or older to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Midweek feels. Phillies are in action tonight. I really do hope that Zach Wheeler pitches well and the Phillies get this win, because I think it's just better for the city. I think it's better for the fan base. I'm a big believer in giving people hope. I'm a big believer in giving somebody, something to hold on to, something that they can lean on. And I feel like it's on the Phillies to give the fans a reason to show up at the ballpark this weekend for the final weekend of the season at home. There's no guarantee they're going to have any games in the postseason in that ballpark. So, in my opinion, your job should be to go out there and give the fans the best show possible. Don't think about tomorrow or next week's series or the rest of the year. Just do what you got to do now to give the fans a show. And I hope that they can do that, because they've now lost 5 straight games. They got to get off the schneid. They got to wake up. They got to start playing better. So I really do hope that they get a win, play well tonight. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973, Dan EHT says, the Phillies bullpen is absolute hot trash. They must be the worst ERA in the league the last month. Every reliever gives up at least 1 run per inning except Alvarado. Well, first of all, they don't have the worst ERA in the league in the last month. I can tell you that much. Look, the problem with the Phillies is actually not the bullpen. It's actually the starting staff's inconsistency, because the bullpen has been asked way too many times to bail this team out, and I just think they're running out of bullets. I think that the organization made a miscalculation when it came to, what they thought this bullpen was going to be in the starting staff down the stretch. I think that when you look at what they did at the deadline, at the time, a lot of us thought it made a lot of sense, right? A lot of us said, hey, you needed center field help. You got Brandon Marsh. Hey, you got another starting pitcher to eat up innings in Syndergaard. So you thought at the time that what they did made a lot of sense. Now, projecting to where we are today, Eflin's injury has really impacted this rotation, in my opinion. Christian Sanchez's inability to be reliable has hurt them. Nick Nelson, at this point, I think that he's burned through a ton of innings already this year, probably more than they probably expected him to. And I think that the plethora of injuries have impacted this team, and guys who could have been contributors in that bullpen right now, guys like Mark Appel, who pitched well when he came up, guys like Damon Jones, who could have been a guy eating innings for them. Some of these guys are just unavailable, and Dominguez was injured part of the year. I don't know if Brad Hand is really your best option anymore. Dan H.C. right, Alvarado is probably one of their more reliable pitchers at this point. Knable's on the injured list. That hurts their depth. So I think the Phillies' problem is the starters have put the bullpen in a position to have to do too much. And now it's turning around into this, oh man, what are we going to do now kind of situation. So that's why you're hoping that Wheeler can go out there, give you a couple innings, and restabilize things, give you a little hope. Mike in Egg Harbor says, if the Phillies clinch the playoffs and advance to, say, the ALCS, you'll see things sway for the fans, and it will quickly being a baseball town like it was from 2007 to 2009. That's a big if, because here's the problem. You look at the teams that are going to make the playoffs for baseball in the National League. You're talking about the Dodgers, the Mets, the Braves, the Cardinals, and the Phillies and the Padres, basically, right? That's what we're talking about. So do we really believe that let's say the Phillies get out of the first round. If you get in the second round with a team like the Braves, the Dodgers, just throwing them out as examples, or even the Mets, are we really confident they're going to beat those teams in a 5-game series? It's a big if. It's a big if, Mike and Egg Harbor. I just think that I don't know if you'll ever sway this team to be a baseball town like it was all those years ago for two reasons. One, because I think that was a very special team that the fans were emotionally an attachment to the trio of Utley, Rollins, and Howard. People really loved Victorino. Cole Hamels was a superstar. Brad Lidge in 08 had a legendary season. I think they caught lightning in a bottle with great players that people like, and it worked out for everybody. And around that time, the Eagles were kind of on the come down a little bit. They had the little resurgence when they got the one more NFC championship game, but I think this time around it's a little different. They need multiple years of making the postseason. Like if they made the NLCS this year, people would get more interested. They get more excited. They show up to the ballpark in droves. But I don't know if that'll directly parlay it to be a baseball town immediately. I think it'll always be a football town first, and it's typically the Phillies and the Sixers who are fighting for second, and then every once in a while, the Flyers sneak in and make a deep run, and people get excited about it. That's typically what happens in Philadelphia. Jeff in Ocean City says, Josh, if you're waiting for the Phillies to get you excited, I'm afraid you'll have to wait until 2023. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's from Jeff in Ocean City. Look, you're probably right. I want the Phillies to get my interest. I want them to be interesting, but a game last night, you're just dragging through the game. I mean, I don't know what was worse last night. Mike Gill's description, The Bachelorette, that he was sitting around watching for 3 hours, or that Phillies game where they lost 18-11 last night. I don't know what was worse television. I just want to see a good baseball team. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see my offensive line committing 6 penalties. I don't want to see my baseball team giving up 18 runs. Is that too much to ask? Maybe it is. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Thanks again to Dave Weinberg for joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday. Don't forget, tomorrow on the Sports Bash, 4 more chances for you to be a qualifier to win club box seats when the Eagles play the Washington Commanders on Monday Night Football in November. So listen for your chance to qualify to be a winner on the Sports Bash tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Gina Toretto is back tomorrow night, talk college football. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody. And for the YouTube only crowd, I just wanted to hit on the Aaron Judge thing one more time before we get out of here. First of all, like, subscribe. If you enjoy the content, you enjoy the show each day, we bring you on the YouTube channel. It's a simulcast of what we have on the radio at 973 ESPN FM, the 973 ESPN mobile app. I want to drive this home about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is doing something that no one has ever done. He has hit 60 home runs in fewer games than Babe Ruth and Roger Maris, two of the greatest sluggers in Yankees history. Mickey Mantle never hit 60 home runs, right? Derek Jeter was not a slugger. He was a clutch hitter and a great shortstop. Hall of Famer, obviously. But Aaron Judge doing something in a Yankees uniform has never been done before. And you go back to when McGwire and Sosa had that run, must watch in 98. I remember having to try to plan my days. And, when you're, what was that time? 13 years old. When you're that young and you're trying to plan your days around a sporting event like that, it's not as easy as it is now that I'm an adult and I'm much more responsible and together with things. But it was must watch. I remember being, in my teens in the summer, and you would, if they were playing in the middle of the day, you'd stop what you're doing and go to somebody's house or go home and watch a baseball game on television. It was must-watch television, and you were disappointed when McGwire and Sosa, people forgot Griffey. Griffey was part of that race for most of the year as well. You were disappointed if the Cardinals, Cubs, and Mariners, for example, were not on Saturday afternoon baseball on Fox, right, in 98, or if they weren't on Sunday night baseball on ESPN. Like, you knew that back then you didn't have MLB Network and all the access to games like MLB TV you have now. But back then, if McGwire, Sosa, and Griffey were not on national television, you were very disappointed. But baseball has fallen so far off from what it used to be that I think that what Judge is doing is not being appreciated enough. And as someone who loves sports and appreciates, just great athletes and great performances, I think that we need to give Judge a lot more credit. Whether you're the Yankees fan, it doesn't matter. You can just be a sports fan and appreciate the fact that Judge is doing something that no one has ever done. And he's a special athlete. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. Those kind of guys play the NFL. They don't play baseball usually. Guys who look like Aaron Judge historically have been football players, basketball players, and professional boxers. He's a baseball player. And he's going to break the Roger Maris record of 61. Can he get to Bonds? I don't know if he'll get to 73. Could he get to McGwire 70? Maybe. I'm not gonna rule that out. The bigger question is, when Judge does all this, how many people will care? How many people will care that this guy is doing something that nobody's ever done before? And that's really what I think is disappointing. What's disappointing to me is that Aaron Judge is going down in history and half the world doesn't care because of football season. It's not Judge's fault. It's baseball's fault. Baseball should be marketing this out the wazoo. They should be promoting it, him, and everything else. But instead, Judge isn't even on national TV all week. All the networks should be scrambling their schedules. FS1, ESPN, Apple TV, all of them, MLB Network, anybody who's got a TBS, Yankees should be on every day on all those networks. But instead, right now, you got to wait until this weekend for the Yankees to be on national TV when they play the Red Sox. And that's the only reason why they're going to be on national TV previously, is because it was scheduled for the Red Sox. And then you're hoping that people scramble around, turn on the TV, and watch those games. But they might not, because with college football on Saturday and NFL on Sunday and high school football Friday night, Thursday night football, there's a lot of other things taking people's attention. And the question is, what are you going to choose to watch? Are you going to watch what you usually watch with football, or are you going to watch Aaron Judge chase history? You think about this schedule. In this season, Through 147 games, Judge has 60 home runs. That's the best number all time to get to 60. Now, will he get to 70 or 73 by the end of the season, which is October 5th, when the Yankees are in Texas to play the Rangers? I'm certainly interested in finding out. All right, thanks to all of you watching on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Josh Hennig here is the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Hennig. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.